Hi, this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Today's video is going to be a walk around the garden to have a look at the work that Hannah and I did over the weekend and provide effectively an early summer update. We are preempting most of the summer blooms actually coming out, but they're well on their way and some have actually started, so that's the idea. So let's get the camera down and take a walk. Okay, I'll do my normal, we'll start in the same place as we usually do and work our way round. Now the actual planted border itself, there's not much to say about that because I didn't realise the zoom was in. All I actually did with the planted border was take some seed heads off and take some of the long extensions off the fuchsia because they were weighing the branches down too much. Those will now shoot out sideways and go upwards. So that's but I mean, Hannah was well impressed with how the border is filled out. And without the seed heads and dead bits all over the place, it looks a bit tidier as well. We were counting up the physical number of ferns that we've managed to get in here. They weren't all planted by me, and so some have self-seeded. Anyway, this was the first bit of work. This was a bit I did, was just basically tidy that bush. So basically I reduced the height. All those long extensions that were sticking up have come off. And I took a bit of this side off and found another foxglove that was hiding behind the bush. I thought there was just one there, but there was two. So we found a foxglove. That was good. And then coming round here, a lot of the really long extensions were taken off this bush. You can't take too much off this bush because it flowers in the autumn on this year's growth. So if you keep cutting all these shoots off, you're removing your sort of flowers for later in the year. So yeah, and then coming round here, Hannah got all the ivy out of that evergreen there. I don't know what it is, but it looks an awful lot better having a bit of its own space there. And the other thing that's happened just in the last week or so, really, or even less than that, is this campanula has found its way into many places and is starting to bloom really well now. So we've got a nice splash of purple all hiding up in there, all up in the bush, all up in there. It spreads basically. There's another lot up in here that gets up in everywhere. But it's a nice little sort of splash of purple around. The blue geranium's looking good as well. This is looking nice. And then this geranium seems to want to go everywhere because it's even managed to get up in there. And even as far as that. It just seems to like to climb and make its way around all over the place. So that nightshade, it's not deadly nightshade, but the nightshade, Hannah cut as much as she could back and got rid of a lot of that and took this back in so that it opens up this space, and that enables me to see this part of the garden from the kitchen window, whereas this was all sticking out too much before. Didn't really do anything here. Didn't touch my acer tree, that got left alone. Over here, this alder and the oak, they would be trees if they were left alone. They're staying as bushes. I don't want the path blocked. So this was tidied, and I had a go at that, trimmed it and shaped it just to keep it. I don't want it neat and tidy, I just want it tidy. And then I had a go at the camellia, and it's just basically keeping it in shape. So I tried not to cut all of the new extensions off because obviously there'll be blooms involved there, but I can't let it get too tall that I need to get the steps out to deal with it. So that just had a little tidy, not too much. And while I was doing that, Hannah tidied up the pyracantha spiky bush. You can see the berries coming on it now. Oh, the Red Admiral just come to visit us. Is he going to land? God, they're so quick. Yeah, there we go. Straight to the buddleia. That's what it's there for. That's what it's there for. But if I try and zoom in, it'll fly away. It's a bit head on at the moment with its wings closed, so difficult to see much really, but anyway, the butterfly on the buddleia, which was what the whole thing was all about. Right, where were we? It's like distraction there. Major works on the laurel, that's come right down and been taken right back in. So the idea is to keep it flat. It can be allowed to creep out sideways, but it must stay flat. Yeah. So we both did that. Hannah came at it from one side, I came at it from the other side. And then the mock orange, confident mock orange, too many people have suggested that's what it is for it to be wrong. You're supposed to prune it immediately after flowering, and I've never managed to get it to flower simply because I think we keep pruning it. So what I've done this time is I've just taken the top off. All the stuff that was, well, I missed a couple as well, I've just seen. Most of the top has been taken off, and all the rest of it's been left. So all of this down here should actually bloom next year. It's not going to do it this year. So that's that. Coming round here, just looking at things, Hannah's actually weeded this bed, and I had to explain what's not weeds. If you look at this ground cover, colour, shape and everything, and I don't know how that bit got there, and that bit got there, and that bit got there, but they did. And then that bright green one, also another piece there, has come from here. Yeah. Now I said to Hannah, if in doubt, leave it there and I'll sort it out. So I can see a few weeds that have been missed. And we decided, because these are forget-me-nots, Hannah's cut all the dead bits off, it is highly likely that that mass there is forget-me-not seedlings. Because they're not weeds, those are actual plants. So you can tell when you get good enough, you can tell the difference between a weed and a cultivated plant. So I'm hoping those are forget-me-nots. That's going to be an absolute mess next year. That are the theory. Right, so where did we get to? This is coming on well. I'm starting to see buds forming. Helenium, probably. So I'm told. The geum's looking good. I'm going to have to get another stake for that one over there. Some of these are coming up that look like they might be self-supporting, but the first few flopped over. You know, like this one was just too tall. The red valerian has actually come into bloom. That's a butterfly and bee thing as well. And I have, now that I can see the blooms and I know what this is, I've known what this is all along, but I didn't recognise it until the blooms came out. And it's everywhere except round here. I have found a clump that I can collect and bring back so that I can get some more of that growing around the garden, because at the moment it's fragile because that's all I've got is that little bit. This will seed, so we will get a nice clump here that will seed itself. And this is an ideal place for it to grow as well. Probably the plant most suited to growing in a gravel bed. That grows on the top of stone walls. You know, if it can grow on a wall with literally no media, then it's going to be fine in the gravel bed. So yeah, I've got a large clump of that I think I can collect. It's on the roadside at the base of a wall, so we may go and get that. The sedum is showing the flower buds now, so that's not too far off, and there's a lot of them. The whole of that plant is just a mass of shoots with buds on. That's going to look good. Again, bees and butterflies. That's what it's all about. Now this tub is over here for a reason. Oh, and what else did Hannah do? The spiky bush that was hanging out has been pushed back and sort of levelled round a bit. And the big bramble that was hanging out has been taken off as well. So that's good. This tub is here for a reason, because it had to be moved out of the way. Oh, we've got a broken bit of lavender. It's a shame. That's trying to get to the shed. Where's my dumping ground? Over there. It's a place for throwing odd bits and pieces. So over here, the rosemary has grown really well. Hannah wanted to trim that and tidy it, and I've said all of those shoots that you're looking at there are next year's blooms, early spring blooms, and that's early nectar for bees and things, so it's going to be left, and then after it blooms you prune it to grow the new shoots for the following year. The two types of lavender are blatantly obvious now. You can see one type of lavender is down here with these nice blooms, and the smell, as soon as I've touched that, the smell is gorgeous. The other type of lavender, the blooms are up here. It's that tall. And again, there are lots of them. They're not open yet, they will be soon. They're showing their purple. So with two different types of lavender, a lower growing one and then a tall flowering one. And that tub is over there for the same reason as that tub is there. We'll get to it in a minute. But it looks like a branch has broken there as well. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. When things get moved around, they get knocked. That's life. That's the way things go. Over there in the dump. Right, now, why are the tubs out of the way? The tubs are out of the way so that I can get at this. The only job that was on the list for the weekend that didn't get done is weeding this newly planted area that Anna planted. You can see it's a mass of weeds, and the problem is the edge of the decking is starting to collapse, so it's not too much longer for this world, basically, you know. Not my problem, it's not my decking, but so I'm going to get the kneeler out and start up there with the kneeler and weed everything in front of me, move the kneeler along, do the same thing, and come along here in stages until I actually get up in here and give this a good tidy up. Because as I say, these plants will all clump up, but you know, there's bugle there, there's those that silvery coloured plant, there's some London Pride, there's some ferns, and then up in there there's bluebells and primroses and snowdrops. But yeah, so this area needs a good clear out. It's the bit that didn't get done. So yeah, that's about it really. That area was hollowed out quite a bit with all the creeper and everything that was cut back. I can see up in there where the primrose is, I can see a bit of bramble, some ivy and some weeds, so I've literally got to start here and work my way down through there and just de-weed it manually, carefully, and get them all. As I said, this was disturbed land, that's why there's so many weeds and they're growing so well. And then when that's done, this bonsai staging is going to be moved over a bit because it's starting to feel a bit enclosed in this central area, and I'd like this central area to feel open when I walk across it. Hannah moved the bonsai staging with my pine on over that way a bit. Again, that looks cluttered because that tub's there, but that shouldn't be there. That's the white buddleia. That will be out soon. You can see the flower spikes on the top. And then the other job that we did is here. Tidy. got the strimmer out. Had a lot of trouble with it. The line kept breaking. Now, I bought a heavy duty line for the strimmer to stop that happening, and the last couple of times we used it, it was fine, and this time it wasn't. So I think, well, we collectively thought that it might be the heat in the shed that's actually made the line brittle, because it's a type of plastic or nylon type thing. Anyway, the line kept breaking and we had to keep stopping and messing about and everything like that. And then we ran out of line anyway, but we just managed to finish it, or most of it. Hannah did a bit by hand. So we cleaned out all the cracks on the patio. He's observing at the moment. And I've got a weed killer. It's called Path Clear. Might be a UK only thing, but basically it kills weeds right down into the roots, and then it forms a barrier so that things can't germinate. Now, we used that last year on the patio and it lasted 3 or 4 months. There was not a sign of green coming up through any of the cracks. So I want to use that again, but it's safe for pets and children to walk on and everything once it's dry. So now that we're in a warm patch with no sign of rain, I need to be able to spray these cracks with that chemical, and there's no chance of Mojo getting anywhere near it and getting it on his paws while it's wet. So I'm going to do it at bedtime. After Mojo's been out for the evening and he comes in and, you know, we're about to go to bed, he can stay shut in and I'll just come out and do the spraying, and then it can dry overnight, which it will. It's warm at the moment, so. But yeah, all of this lot got tidied up. All the cracks got done. Everything got swept up. All the junk that was in this corner got tidied up. And the only bit left is the bag, which Hannah left that, so that when I do the weeding, I can use the rest of that bag because it's not full. So yeah, it's made a lot of difference. This area, it always seems much bigger when it's tidy and all the leaves are swept up. And you shouldn't get too much more mess in here now till the autumn. So there we go. You can see why I want to move that bonsai staging when I put the camera like that. Because they're not in line and that one's not straight. It's annoying me. So it's going to get moved round, and I'll make sure it's dead in line with the one behind it, so that they're like stepped up like that with the shorter trees and then the other trees at the back. And we found some leaf frazzle. Some leaf frazzle on this tree. Now, okay, a maple, strictly speaking, shouldn't be in full sun. Not really. Midday sun is a bit much for it. But this tree lived on that table last year in full sun all through the year and didn't frazzle. So there's only one reason this has frazzled this year. It started to dry out of the roots. So it's my fault, basically. It's not harmed the tree. There's nothing wrong with the tree. These places where the frazzle has happened, they will shoot out again. You can see most of the leaves are fine. So this needs a trim anyway, this one. So we'll have a go at that soon. So that's what we got up to. That edge all along there got done. Can't do the wisteria and the bamboo until I'm happy that I'm safe to waggle that huge heavy hedge trimmer around, you know, with the fact that I've been told not to do anything energetic or strenuous until I'm sorted out, basically. So that didn't get done. It wasn't even on the list for this weekend. It will get done at some point, but I have to have Hannah here, because to reach up there I need to get up the steps, and she needs to be standing on the bottom of the steps so that they don't fall over. So I've just got ordinary steps. They're not tripod steps or anything. Can't afford them. Not just for a couple of times a year. So there's that still to do, but yeah, all along that edge got tidied, some of the back, seed heads, and tidy up here, that bush, and quite a bit of undergrowth removed in that sort of shrubbery area there, and the patio all tidied up. So well pleased. And yesterday afternoon there was a comma butterfly came on the buddleia. That's the first one that's been in here this year, I think. And then today a red admiral, fleeting visit, but yeah. So yeah, it's soon, in a week or so, we will come out the end of the June gap, as it's called, which is a lull in UK butterflies. Especially the sort that you get round the gardens and things, you know, the tortoise shells, painted ladies, red admirals, commas, and the whites. There's a lull in June, and then towards the end of June and into July there's a surge. So the buddleias sat there waiting for them. They'll be coming soon. I've got the red valerian, and you know, I've got my perpetual wallflower, and the achillea in front of the wallflower in that bright blue tub. That's coming into flower now. There's plenty here for them, and the idea is that they either make regular visits or they hang around, even better. Right, so there we go. That's an update on the work that we did and a general look around the garden. The thing that spoils the garden now is the shed, and I've got the paint to do it, and it will get done soon. I've got the timber to fill in the gap so that Mojo can't escape and go through the hole in the fence, and also that'll hold the fence post up that's broken off, that's held up with that green wire at the moment. So I've got all the stuff to do the shed now. I just need to get on with it, but it probably won't be started this week, because I've got quite a lot of trimming and messing around with the bonsai this week, and I've still got orchids to do, you know. So I mean, today the cymbidiums need watering, and my mounts again, because with warm weather. Up to 28 in the grow room yesterday. That's high. Anyway, so yeah, the garden is really coming together now. Hannah said that this garden is coming together this year nicely. What a spectacle it's going to be next year. I haven't even thought about next year yet. Let's get this year over and done with first. But yeah, all the hard work that we did last year and the end of the year before, it's all paid off. It's starting to be a place that I enjoy being in. I'm even starting to come outside for my early morning coffee, and yeah, so it's getting there. All good stuff, and yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by. This is my view from the kitchen window, so this is my general view of the garden, and you can see the shed takes a right edge off of it. So I'm seriously thinking of putting some new felt on the roof, and obviously it's going to be painted. That'll get done anyway, but whether I do the roof or not, we'll have to wait and see. The landlord ought to pay for that really, but it's too much hard work. It's just hard work. Better to just get on and do it, I think. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.